Hello, everybody. How we all doing? Is everyone okay? Are we all okay? That was nuts last night. I may have got overly emotional on Joe's show last night, straight after the game. So I wanted to do this, and I wanted to have a calmer kind of look back at the game and a chat with everybody. I am going to cover as much chat as I can. This is just going to be a relax. I'm not done talking about last night. Just put it that way. So I am going to try and get through as much chat. There's 80 people in the house already. How are you all doing? Hope you've all had a really good night, and I hope you got some sleep because I know I didn't. I am going to go through some chat. So if it's not your thing, I apologize. But just everyone's kind of excited about last night and what's going on since the turn of the year with Leeds, and I want to kind of get through that stuff. So slow, steady. Steve's head still hurts. Can I help him? I can't, Steve. My head still hurts. I'm still that I have that kind of, that woo noise in my ears since last night. Mark, how did we manage to win that? I don't know, mate, but we did. Michael, good afternoon to you. Alison, how are you doing? Game of two halves. Football is a game of moments, isn't it? What a game. Head hurts. Yep, it does, Dave. How am I doing, Tommy? I'm all right. I'm all right, but I did traumatize my dog shouting last night. So, in good and bad stuff. Yep, Michael, happy days is right. Yeah, Glenn did predict 3-1. Well done, Glenn. Nailed it on the head. Jim, very excited. Chewy, excited. Jim Atkins, Ipswich Saints predictions. I don't care. It doesn't matter, mate. It really doesn't matter. We just keep doing our job. We worry about them. I would imagine both those teams win today, but it's not the priority for us. Keep winning our games. Bring us up to speed as to what is required on Wednesday. Wednesday's a different kind of thing. The FA Cup's the FA Cup. And I said on Joe's show last night, I'm not bothered about the FA Cup. My focus is on the league. Whatever happens on Wednesday is a bonus for me. So yeah, I think we should get a left back for now. So yeah, let's just enjoy the moment before we start laying into people. Let's enjoy them. Let's just enjoy the moment. Yeah. Jay, I've never seen you more animated after a Leeds match on Joe's channel last night. There was a lot of I've had. I'll be honest with you. I've had a tough couple of weeks at work. I've had a tough couple of weeks with my health, my heart, particularly. I'm going through some stuff with my heart. I've an autoimmune thing, so unfortunately, my heart's been giving me trouble lately. There's a lot of stress on my shoulders, and last night, just Leeds winning and how the manner in which Leeds won, all of that just came off my chest. They say football is a place for people to go and express themselves. Men specifically who are very bad at expressing their emotions can go and express themselves in any kind of way: sing, shout, scream, get angry, get sad, get happy. And last night was all those things. So yeah, there's so many comments. I'll try and get through some if I can. Starting to believe, Paul. Absolutely. Here's the thing. And I just want to say, Jim, thanks, Jim. Really appreciate that, mate. We'll be fine. We'll all be fine. I think it's just stress, but we'll be fine. Want to say something about last night and just in general. We all have opinions on football and we all have opinions on Leeds. And it's okay to have opinions. If you didn't like Daniel Farke's system at the start of the season, that's fine. That's absolutely okay. If you don't like certain players based on performances historically, that's fine. That's absolutely okay. But when it changes, the opinion should change with it because that's real. That's real. Your opinion's based on fact, not bias. I've seen some people continue to call out Ilan Meslier last night after a very good performance from him last night. He's had two massive games for Leeds against Leicester. I've seen people still calling Farke, people tagging me and stuff last night, calling out content creators and slagging off Farke. The man hasn't lost a game since the turn of the year. 9 straight wins. Leeds haven't done this since 1931. So if you can't park the bias and if you can't change your opinion, I had a very strong opinion at the start of the season on Glenn Kamara. I based that on friends that I had, our Rangers fans, people I know in Scotland, watching him over the last 2 years. And I said that Glenn Kamara was a very average player. I am happy and have been happy this season to say I was wrong about that. Glenn Kamara has been fantastic for Leeds. You can make an opinion. Don't double down on it just to prove a bias. That's the bit that kind of is sad because things change. People change. Pat Bamford came on last night, made a difference. We've all been critical of Pat Bamford last year. Very good last night. Very, very good last night. Bandy, want to call Bandy out? Bandy has been saying for weeks Leeds are going to win the league. You never know. Now we never know. It's just been great. It's just been great. The halftime reaction I thought was over the top as well. I want to talk about a few bit. I'm going to get into this in more detail. Just this is my kind of public address today. I'm going to go through this, the top line kind of stuff on emotions of the game and perceptions going into the game and during the game. I want to talk about Maresca versus Farke. I also want to talk about the stats from the game that back up certain aspects that Leeds fans will feel, and then kind of get rid of some of the perception that was floating around last night. And then the team performance. I want to go through the team player by player and talk about the good and the bad and be balanced about this. Last night, as I said, I was very emotional, so I was focusing very, very much on the happiness from the result, from the immediate result. It's strange. It's strange. I mean, Emmett's saying it here in the chat. In Joe's live chat last night, it was embarrassing, some of the comments. Surely not Leeds fans calling out Rutter for it. They are. There is a person in particular who I'm very disappointed in, who has his own channel. And he just won't leave Meslier alone. He's just doubling down on Meslier, saying he's crap. He's crap. He's not. He's a young goalkeeper who will make mistakes. Meslier will make more mistakes. Meslier will have good days. Meslier will have bad days. Last night he was very good. Made some very big saves last night. And go back to the first game against Leicester. It's a world-class save that he makes in that game. He's been very good this season for us. That can't be said. Matt, how you doing, Matt? How you up? You're well, mate. Bamford scored a winner against Chelsea. Well, that'd be nice for him, wouldn't it? Against his old club. Yeah, the club didn't treat him particularly well. That would be great. So, right. Yeah, as Steve said, if you are in the house and you're happy watching this, you can smash the like. Friday's news is available as well. There's some comments there about Leeds being linked with a young Scottish player as well. You can check that out on the channel. I'll link it down below at the end of this as well. This might go on Spotify. Because I'm doing chat, I probably won't. But I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to talk to you about this. Let's go through the top line stuff. And let's be very honest and very balanced here. And I am still buzzing. So I am still trying to calm myself down. I'll say this. Before I get to that, I want to talk to this guy. Smarty, how you doing, mate? I think we've all been very vocal about certain players, but by God, most of them have turned it around for this season. The whole team was a joy to watch. And they have been a joy to watch. I didn't like Daniel Farke's style of football at the start of the year. It was too slow for me. It was too methodical. It wasn't the build. It was too slow. It wasn't the kind of tempo and pace that I wanted to see. But you can't say that's the same now. It has grown over the course of this season. It has improved rapidly as the season's gone on. You know, I'm a Leeds fan. I want Leeds to do well. And if I have to be proven wrong for Leeds to play well, I'm all over that. I'm here for that. I'm okay with that. Leeds can struggle. Leeds can do whatever they want to do to prove any of my old opinions wrong. I'm fine with that. The most important thing is that this club gets back to the Premier League and this club is winning matches. And right now, this club is the most winningest team in Leeds history for this period of time right now. And that says something. We have lived through some very, very positive moments with Marcelo Bielsa. Daniel Farke is bringing a different style. But this time, with this team versus the year we got promoted, 10 points clearer, scored way more goals, conceded less goals, won more games, drew less games, lost less games. I mean, that's there. It's mad. It's mad. People still just won't leave Meslier alone. I don't get this. There's a clear instruction. 3 goalkeepers have played in goal for Leeds and they've all punched the ball and they all play out from the back. There was a clear instruction to play that way. People just can't let it go. It's really disappointing. It really is, because he made some massive saves last night. Again, his job is to stop the ball going the back of the net, and he did it really well. Anything else he can add to Leeds from that after that is a bonus. It's not a negative. It's a bonus. So that's the big thing. Talking about the top line. So if we go through the game, did Leeds start well and was all last night positive? No, it wasn't. It wasn't all positive. Did Leeds start well last night? No. Slow out of the back. Slow out. Leicester got off the mark very quickly. Dominated possession probably for the first 20 minutes. The goal that we concede as well is a mistake from an individual player, not a tactical error, not a system error. Willie Gnonto just gets caught. Why Willie Gnonto was marking fast? Different question. But he loses his man. Fast gets a header to back post, open goal, scores. Fair enough. Leicester are a very, very good team. I thought Leicester, and I'm going to give Leicester some credit here as well. Matt's saying without Meslier, we would have conceded 2 or 3 more goals. Yeah, we would have. I mean, he made a fantastic save for I think it was Mavididi, who had a great game last night as well, outside of his finishing. Leicester are a very good side. There's some very good players who had very good games, and I'm not gonna have a pop at Leicester and try and downplay what they are as a team. They're a very good player. Did I think their manager did him any favors last night? No. I thought his comments before the game, and Sky Sports said it, and the only thing I agreed with Sky Sports last night, a misplaced comment and a badly timed comment, and they said that before a ball was even kicked. So that didn't help them. But what I will say is, first 20 minutes, I thought their central 2 midfielders of Dewsbury Hall and Winks were excellent. But they were very, very good. Excellent game. Excellent game. They've got 2 very good wingers in Mavididi and in name slips my head. You know what I'm talking about, on the far side of the pitch. And they were always going to give Archie and Junior Firpo a tough time. We'll get to the individual player performances because I do want to talk about Firpo, good and bad. I'm not going to criticize him. Good and bad. All of them. But then I thought once we conceded a goal, I thought Leeds' reaction was really good. I thought Leeds created a lot of chances. People keep saying Leicester could have been 3-0 up in the second half. People forget this, and they'll go through this. Joel Pirro has 2 really good opportunities. It's a smashing cross from Willie Gnonto, possibly overhit a little bit, but you would expect a striker to divert that ball into the back of his head. He puts it well wide, and then he's a ball pulled back early on in the game. He puts over the crossbar. That's 2. Leeds should be 2-0 up at that point. They're not. Chris Somerville carries the ball into the box, overhits the ball a little bit. Keeper gets out, defender smothers the ball. Should score. Should be 3. And Willie Gnonto gets a great opportunity. Cuts in on the right-hand side, cuts in, should hit the ball. comes in again, overhits the ball, gets smothered. That should be 4. So Leeds had very clear chances in that first half to score. I said at the halftime, sometimes just shoot the ball. Sometimes just shoot the ball. And the second half, Leeds did that. So from the time that Leicester scored till halftime, I thought Leeds were in the ascendancy. I thought Leeds were playing the better football. I thought Leeds were growing into the game. And then the second half started, and Leeds didn't come out of the traps as well as they should have in the second half. Leicester dominated probably early parts of that game, created some really, really clear-cut chances. Daka had one of the worst games I've ever seen him have in terms of his finishing ability. He's a very good striker, had a bad day at the office. It happens. Meslier makes some very big saves. Really good save at one point from Abadidi, which is touched around the post. When if we missed that opportunity, we'd be screaming that we should have scored that goal. He does brilliant. He does brilliant. He will have moments, and I said this, he will have moments. He's a young goalkeeper. He's going to make mistakes this season. He'll make mistakes next season. He'll have great days at the office, and he'll have bad days at the office. And that's the point of having a balanced approach and a balanced opinion on this. When he's good, just say he's good. Same with Bamford, same with all of them. When they're playing well, just say they're playing well. They're representing the Leeds badge. When they play well, great. When they don't play well, criticize the performance, not the individual. Criticize the performance. Make it about the game and not about the person. Never make it. I always say this thing as well. Once the argument becomes personal, you've lost the argument. You've lost any kind of moral high ground on it. So keep it at that. And it's okay to do that. I do it all the time. Like, I've been critical of Pat Bamford's performances in the past. Has he been very good since the turn of the year? Yeah, he has. And that's where the difference is. You've got to be able to say those things. You've really got to be able to say that. This team has growth. Archie Gray had some tough days against Preston. The first game against Liam Miller had a tough day at the office. Second time he played him, had him in his pocket. Growth. Willie Gnonto started the season quite poorly. Had his issues at the start of the season. Got his run the team. Did really, really well. Growth. 2 centre-backs. Growth. Full-backs. Junior Firpo's had some really positive moments this year. Growth. There's growth there, and that's what you're looking for, just to keep getting better. Day by day, step by step, game by game, just improving. And you'll have bad days at the office. Every single player in this team will have an off day, and that's when it's important for every other player to step up. And they've done that. Chris Somerville has carried this team through some very dodgy moments this season. Last night, probably not his best game, but the other players stepped up, and that's what's important. They'll all have their moments this year to either carry the team or to support the team, or have a bad day at the office, and that's okay. They'll have good days and they'll have bad days, and we'll go through that. The Maresca versus Farke thing, I want to talk a little bit about this as well, and the difference in the build-up as well. If you look at Daniel Farke's press conference leading into the game, Farke says very clearly he's a lot of respect for Leicester. He's very respectful in what he says about Leicester. He's very respectful in the players they have, the position there in the league, talking to being one of the best sides in the division. Class act. Has been a class act all year. And he's managed what has been a very tricky start for Leeds this season incredibly professionally. I said earlier on the season, I thought he was the best signing we made. I was a little bit critical of him earlier on the season with the style of football. I'll admit that, no problem. But that's changed. It's got better. It's grown. JT said on JT Live as well, and on Joe's show as well, and I keep coming back to this comment. Over the course of this year, these players have gotten to know Daniel Farke, and Daniel Farke has gotten to know these players. And you can see that now. There's a rhythm to it. There's a movement to it. And that's growth again. That's that growth thing that I keep talking about. It's there and it's clear. Maresca decides to go down the avenue of, I won't say having a pop at Leeds, but undermining the game and the value of the game. They're 9 points clear. January 12th this year, Leicester are 17 points ahead of Leeds. It's now 6. He decides to say it's not a big game. And that's motivation for the opposition. That's motivation for Leeds. When I coached people, I used to say this: never give the opposition any other reason to win the game outside of getting 3 points. Don't motivate them any more than they're already motivated. And he did that. And as Sky Sports said, misplaced, bad timed. Silly comment to make. And then after the game, he's kind of gone back on his word. He's kind of changed his opinion. He's now criticizing his team. The very Frank Lampard. Evie said this on Not Another Leeds podcast last night. There are some very Frank Lampardy moments about this. He's now gone back on his thing, saying he believes the gap will be tighter. He's told the players their form isn't good enough. It's just something is wrong. It's not what you want to hear coming into a run into the season. Do I think Leicester will still get promoted? I do. I don't have a massive problem with Leicester. I think they're a very good club. I still think they'll go up automatically. They've been one of the best sides this year, if not the best side this year. But last night Leeds proved that right now, this is the best team in the division. Whatever the league table says, this is the best team in the league right now. The form is there. The rhythm is there. The heart and the passion is there. And that's massive. Look at Ellen Road last night. Did anyone see the video last night that was shared of the guy that filmed it from Leeds from miles away, and you could hear marching on together? Insane. An incredible crowd, an incredible atmosphere. I'd say it was nuts to be there last night. From watching it on TV, I don't get to go to all the games because I live in Ireland. But what I will say is, you felt it. You felt that last night. And that passion, that drive, that's there with Leeds right now. The belief is there. It's not always going to go our way. It's going to be, there we go, Mr. Dodo. It was 3 miles away. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Good to see you, Dodo. How are you? I hope you're doing well, mate. But they keep going. You know, I said it last night again, football is a game of moments. Moments of brilliance, moments of luck, moments of bad luck. And last night's Leeds got their moments of luck and they needed them. Over the course of this year, we've deserved these moments of luck. Leeds have had 12 penalty decisions go against them this season. We've seen Don Goodman, we've seen Hitchcock, we've seen all the Sky commentators moan about Leeds players and harp on about diving and getting yellow cards or stuff when it looked back on it and they were actually fouls and Leeds should have had free kicks and penalties and cards should have gone the other direction. We've had our bad moments this year as well. And luck was going to swing back in our favor. And it did last night. We got a bit lucky last night. And that's okay because you have to be sometimes. It's a game of moments. And last night, Leeds took their moments and Leicester didn't. How many times have we said that Leeds just haven't taken their opportunities when they have them? All season. Last year as well. Opportunities to score. Didn't take them. Not clinical enough in front of goal. Conceding goals too easy at the back. Last night, that didn't happen. Last night, that did not happen. And Leeds moved into a really strong position. 6 points off Leicester. Maresca's comments for me fueled it. They were petulant. They were childish. After the game, he's not happy. He's sitting on the edge of the dugout looking really, really upset. That's the players are going to see that as well. When Leeds have lost this season, Daniel Farke has dusted it off. He's taking the responsibility on his own shoulders. He's harbored the blame. Never the players. Never the players. But you look at Maresca last night, it became about the players, not about him. Not about his comments before the game. Not about the motivation that he gave Leeds. Not the motivation that he gave the fans in Ellen Road to be louder and stronger. Nothing to do with that. He blamed his players. And that is the difference between the two managers. Whatever Daniel Farke's record in the Premier League is, that is a next season conversation. This season's conversation is all about now. Right now, and Farke is doing an incredible job with Leeds United. He is holding himself with class. He is dealing with things in a very professional manner and a calm manner. There was a moment last night in the second half where Georgino Rutter switched the ball and kicked it straight out of play. And Farke just walks out onto the sideline, shouts to players, stop panicking, calm. Massive difference in the mentality between the two. Maresca's outside his technical area. He's getting in Leeds players' faces. He's stepping in front of people. He's screaming at the referee. Very different mindset. That translates onto the team on the pitch. That can affect players' mentality. If Leicester had kept playing the way they did for the first 20 minutes, they probably would have run right over Leeds and steamrolled Leeds. But they didn't. I thought Glenn Kamara in the middle of the park was outstanding last night. He does an awful lot of ugly work that's not always seen it. How's my heart rate now? It is currently, it's gone down a little, back down to 80. It was at 100 and something last night. So during the game, according to my Fitbit last night, by the way, I did 5.5 minutes of cardio exercise sitting on my sofa watching Leeds. That's what they did. That's what they did to me last night. And I wouldn't change it for a minute. I wouldn't change it for a minute. My partner said she hasn't seen me like that since the Brentford game. And I said, well, it's a very different type of emotion. The Brentford game was frustration and anger and relief then at the end of the game, where last night was pride, passion, desire, hope, all that stuff coming through, all the nice stuff. I'm being fluffy here. I know I'm being fluffy, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling this team has rhythm. I'm delighted for it. And it might turn. We're gonna drop points between now and the end of the season. I don't think for a second we go unbeaten for the end of the year. If we do, fantastic, brilliant. I'd love to see it. But we will drop points. But Southampton will drop points. Leicester have to play Southampton. Southampton have to play Leicester and Ipswich. Teams are going to drop points this year. Norwich are in that mix as well. Hull are in that mix as well. Good sides. Sides that will take points off people. There's pressure on. Ipswich have the easier running of all of the teams. The pressure on them is don't lose. Don't lose. Because if you do, we're going to pull away. All of them. Southampton, Leicester, Leeds are all going to pull away. That's a different kind of pressure for them. Southampton have to beat Leicester, have to beat Ipswich. That's their pressure. Leeds, we have Southampton the final day of the season. We could have it done before then. What we need to make sure that we don't do is slip up against the teams that are down the lower half of the table. Stuff we did in the first half of the season that we haven't seen Leeds do in the second half of the season. And that, again, is growth. This word has been thrown around all season. Last night, Connor Roberts, impact off the bench. We had that. Daniel James all season, an effective player. Chips in with assists, chips in with goals, all of it. And Daniel Farke is class. And last night was desire. And all of these words have been wrapped around this team since the turn of the year. This team has got better and better and better as the season has gone on. And it's great to see. I want to talk about the stats in the game because the perception would be that Leicester dominated the game last night and Leeds were lucky. But I want to show you this. And I thought this is worth just taking a second and having a look at. This is off the Google stats, as they say over here. I'll share this with you. I'll zoom in a little bit, give you a better look at this, right? So we were dominated last night is the perception. Sky Sports saying that Leicester were looking at to win that game. Leeds had 15 shots versus Leicester 16. Very little in that. On target, 5 versus 4. Nothing in that. Possession, Leeds 60% possession to 40% from Leicester. That tells a different story of dominance. The next one is very important. The amount of passes in the game. 555 from Leeds to 374 from Leicester. That's not a dominant performance from Leicester. Look at the passing accuracy as well. We've talked about this all year. Joe Rodon's passing percentages in the 90 percentages. Ilya Gruev's passing percentages in the 90 percentages. Glenn Kamara's passing in the 90 percentages all season long. 85% possession last night, but Leeds weren't good. That's the narrative from Sky. Fouls, we fouled more. More battle, more fight, more heart. Right? And I don't care. People saying possession was in our half. I don't care. We had the ball. That means they didn't have it. It means we had it. Right? Can't say they're dominant if they haven't got the ball. If you haven't got the ball, you're not being dominant. Doesn't matter where the ball is. If you haven't got it, you're not dominating anything. Yellow cards, Leeds a few more. A couple of silly ones in there. Some strange ones. The referee made some very weird calls last night. Leicester had a yellow card given that shouldn't have been a yellow card. Leeds had one as well given that shouldn't have been a yellow card. Weird night for office for the referee. 2 offsides to them, none for Leeds. A rarity from Leeds not to have any yellow cards. And corners, we'd less them. The corners are the one that worry me about Leeds. This is I'll keep saying this. The corners are the bit that always worries me about Leeds. We still are a little bit dodgy. People ask me to calm down. I am. Look, Chewy, we've had enough time to be sad and upset and angry about things. There are moments when we should just take a second and enjoy it. Just enjoy the moment. I'm enjoying this. There was a lot said by a lot of people leading into this game. Leeds have taken 6 points off Leicester this season. You've had Ipswich players coming out saying that Leicester were the best team they played in the league this year, despite the fact that Leeds have whacked them twice. You know? There's things that were said, and there's reactions for that, right? And that's why. I know you mean well, Chewy. I'm not having to pop me. It's starting to feel like this can be done. And that's where I'm coming at this from. There are 12 games left. The problem for me is the international break in the FA Cup. That could break the rhythm for Leeds, but I hope it doesn't. It could also break the rhythm for everybody else as well. So hopefully Leeds can mind the players during the international break. We don't want to see Darcy go off and get injured. We don't want to see Glenn Kamara go off and get injured. Ilya Gruev the same, go off and play for their countries and get injured in games that, let's be honest, aren't important to us. They might be important to their countries, but they're not important to us. Chewy, I know you are, mate. Love you. Don't worry about it at all. All right. I'm just saying it's sometimes just enjoy it. You know, was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. But so what? So what? I don't think anybody in Ellen Road last night cared, and when the final whistle went, that was perfect or not perfect last night. I don't think anyone cares. Michael Brown, Ipswich have away matches at Plymouth, Coventry, East Anglian Derby, against Norwich, Hull, home matches against Southampton, Middlesbrough, Bristol City. Far from easy. You're 100% correct, Michael. Absolutely. And as I said, it's a different kind of pressure. Their pressure is don't lose. Don't lose. That's tough. Imagine a team talk like that. Whatever you do today, lads, don't lose. They always say this thing as like a mental exercise. If you say something to somebody to not think about, don't think about this, and you say it out loud, the only thing you're thinking about is that thing, right? So like, don't think about a pink elephant. Try hard not to think about a pink. Once that's been put in your head, it's there. It's exactly what you're thinking about. Don't lose, Ipswich. That's a different kind of pressure, and that's going to stay in their heads. The other thing I wanted to kind of have a quick chat about as well were players. I wanted to go through the lineups. I won't keep this too long today because I just wanted to have a chat about this. I just feeling it. Michael, did the players feel a bit of pressure in the first half? I just think Leicester were very good in the first half. They're a very good side. They are a very good side, and they played very, very well. Leeds were just a little bit off in terms of, reaction pace. I thought the midfielders were just a little bit disjointed at times. That Joe Pirro was off the game a little bit as well. But they fixed it, and that's what's important. They actually did it, and they fixed it. Chewy, take your time, loving the pod. Cheers, Chewy, appreciate that. I want to go through the players because I want to talk about them all, and I want to talk about good and bad. I'm trying to be balanced with this, and just to walk through the Leeds team specifically. Again, we'll just walk through Google stuff. Ilhan Meslier last night, he got booked for time wasting once, and this is another thing as well. At 70 minutes, Leicester were 1-0 up against Leeds, and Leicester were time wasting. When Leeds went 2-1 up in the 80-odd minute, Leeds were pushing for a third. They could have gone to the corner flag. They could have wasted time. They didn't. They kept on going. And that's the difference, again, in mentality as well. Ilhan Meslier gets booked for one time wasting. Leicester goalkeeper Hermansen is wasting time for a lot longer than that. Gets away with it. Meslier was excellent last night. Distribution, yeah, I'll agree. It's not perfect. It can be bad at times. But in terms of stopping the ball going in the back of the net. I thought last night he was very, very, very good. Archie Gray, tough night at the office for Archie at right back. And this is not a criticism. Mavididi is a fantastic, fantastic specialist winger. Archie Gray is a midfielder playing right back and 17 years of age. He had a tough night. When he went to left back, he was excellent. Again, a slightly lesser player comes into it. These players will have these kind of games. They're young players. They're going to have tough games. Joe Rowe, Nathan Ampadu had a lot to deal with last night. The press from Leicester was very good. They pressed high. They pressed quickly. They stopped Leeds from building out from the back, which caused problems. But again, they recovered when they needed to recover. Ethan Ampadu's last-ditch tackles at times and nipping in front of players was very, very, very good last night. Junior Firpo, tough night at the office for him as well. It was going to be his biggest test of the season. He started well, actually. I thought he was actually really, really good for the first, under that 20-minute pressure Leeds were under. I thought Firpo was actually doing really, really good. Gives us an awful lot going forward. He's been excellent this year going forward. Second half, there was a bit of a wobble. We saw him slip. We saw him give a ball away that could have been a goal. Head kind of maybe went a little bit. And when he was taken off, he threw a water bottle on the ground and seemed to be very annoyed. I don't take that the player was annoyed at Daniel Farke or was annoyed at being substitute. I think he was maybe just frustrated and annoyed. There was a lot of pressure on that game. Firpo wasn't at his best last night, but that doesn't mean he hasn't been good for Leeds. And players will have their moments this year, and when they're having bad games, other players need to step up and cover, and they did that last night. So a mixed bag for Junior Firpo last night. Very good at moments in the first half. Second half, went away from him a little bit, but that's okay. He'll have these games, and that's fine. He's done an awful lot better this year than he has done previously, and he's played a lot more games this year, which is important. Two lads in the middle of the park went unnoticed. Ilya Groove, again, a lot of last-ditch tackles, tackling back, doing what he does really well, slide tackles from behind, getting in, nicking the ball off people. Gave a couple of silly free kicks around the edge of the box, but in general did quite well. Glenn Kamara, unsung hero for me in the team. It's the stuff he does off the ball for me. I know I'm not going to be Paul Heckenbottom, but his off-the-ball work is very good. He gets close enough to players to remove options. He cuts passing lanes the players can't play through. He was very, very good. And in the big moments, I love that little drop of the shoulder that he does and sends players in the wrong direction. He did it to Dewsbury Hall a couple of times last night. He's a beast. He's big. He's strong. He holds onto that ball and takes pressure off people. For me, one of the man of the matches last night. For me, it's a coin toss between Meslier, Kamara, and Jorginho Rutter. Willie Gnonto, tough game for him as well. Marked very, very tight, doubled up on at times as well. Couldn't really get into the game. Same with Chris Somerville. They were just marked very tight and very, very early. The space that they like to play in was limited. Leicester did a really good job of nullifying both of their strong points. But that's okay because they've had big moments this season as well. And the games that they couldn't do it, it's important for other players again to step up, and they did that as well. Still at the moment, Willie could have scored. Probably should have scored. Crease should have scored, which means they're creating chances, which in other games they'll score them. As long as they're making the chances, that's all you want to see. Really, really positive stuff there from them as well. Georgie Rutter, we saw a very Plymouth-esque kind of first half from him. The ball pinging off of him, not sticking, over carrying it at times. But again, you're talking about mentality of footballers, and a lot of footballers would buckle at that stage. The game would go, their head would go, and they'd start just making a mess of everything. He didn't. He starts to grow into the game. Joe Pirro, probably the one player on the side that didn't probably give enough last night, has two very good chances to score, doesn't score. Joe Pirro's 24 years of age. I think we forget how young he is as well. I keep saying this. He's loads of time to be a really, really good player. He's still kind of finding how he fits into this team. He's had moments this year as well where he has scored some really, really good goals last night. Good goals this season for Leeds. And will have important moments between now and the end of the season. The substitutions were the big ones for me. I want to kind of talk about these lads as well. The change up front was important because when Pat Bamford comes on, it's not just him as a number 9 and occupying centre-backs, which he does really, really well. But all of a sudden, Jorginho Rutter starts to come into the game an awful lot more. All of a sudden, Jorginho Rutter gets a lot more space to take more touches, to run with the ball. And I think the experience of Pat Bamford talking to him as well seems to calm him down. And from that moment on, Jorginho Rutter takes over the game. Completely takes over the game. Bamford's work rate as well. There was a moment where he ran back to the halfway line in the 88th minute or something like that to do a slide tackle to win the ball and win it back for Leeds and hold it then. And that takes the pressure off people as well. Jayden Anthony, cameo appearance. He's been through an awful lot recently with bereavements in his family. The guy's gone through a tough time. Comes on, does very, very well. Again, in the moments heading into injury time, when you need someone to put your foot on the ball and slow it down and take the pressure off the team, he did it really, really well. Dan James, again, effective impact. Comes on. Does he score the goal? No. It bounces in off Paddy Bamford's knee. But it's a free kick. We finally scored from a free kick. And I'm okay with that. I'm in for it. Let's go. So Dan James makes an impact, and also the different style. Willie Gnonto is very much close control, runs inside, tries to take on players 1v1 and comes inside. You look at Dan James, it's very much put it down the line on the outside and go around the back of the player. That changes how players think about the game. And also, if you've been marking a player who's been going inside for the bulk of the match, and now all of a sudden he starts to go outside, it affects you. You expect him to go in because you've been doing it for 60, 70 minutes, and now it's going outside. And his pace, his raw pace as well. And that helped us out with Mavididi tracking back as well. And Connor Roberts, what an incredible impact off the bench. He was fantastic. Not just the fact that he scores a really good goal, but getting into tackles, lifting the team, lifting the stadium. We love an big 50-50 banger of a tackle. And he does that. He gets stuck into players, lifts the crowd, lifts everybody, and pushes the whole team on. And for me, that was fantastic. Great goal as well to get as well. Lads didn't get off the bench. Unfortunate for them. But if you look at his changes, Leeds made 4 changes. Leicester only made the 2. The depth in Leeds squad is there to be seen as well. And it's making an impact. And that's great to see as well from this team. So I'm going to say it again in a balanced way. Was last night perfect? No. Was the score? Yeah. 3-1's a pretty comprehensive win when you look back at it. Leeds took their moments in the end of the game. And again, to say this, the people that overreacted at halftime, we all do it. We all do. We all get, overly passionate and say things. Some people call Leeds bottlers last night. Football is played over 90 minutes, not 45. At the end of 90 minutes, judge it. At the end of 90 minutes, the score says 3-1. At the end of 90 minutes, the score says that Leeds outpassed Leicester. At the end of the game, it says Leeds had 60% of the possession of the game. All of that paints a different picture at full time. Game is not played in 5 minutes. It's not played in 10 minutes. Judge it at the end of the game. That's huge. A couple of things I wanted to fly through. I'm said about the moments as well. Players stepping up. Every single player is going to have their moment this season. Chris Somerville's had them all year. George Roberts had them all year. Willie Nundo's had some big moments. Junior Firpo's had some big moments. 2 boys in the middle of the park, big moments. The lads are on the bench have had moments. And they'll all need to do it. They'll all need to keep stepping up between now and the end of the season. So when somebody isn't having a good game, and that happens, it's important that other players step up and do that. Again, look, give Leicester credit. They press really well. That's the best high press I've seen all season. Removes options. It stopped Leeds from playing Leeds game. They did a very effective job on that. Their 2 wingers are excellent. They really, really are excellent players. And I thought we've kind of talked about giving Winks a bit of stink this year and we've given Dewsbury Hall a bit of stick. I thought they were very good in the middle of the park. Both very, very good players. But to see how Groove and Kamara handled them in the second half, very different kind of game. Very different game for me. Archie versus Mavididi. And Joe said this last night on his show. Sometimes a player is just faster than you. Dan James has been killing fullbacks all year because he's just faster than them. And unfortunately, Archie had to deal with that last night. But he'll learn from that. He's 17. He's going to learn from this season. He's going to grow. All of this is good. And as I said, the big one for me was the mentality of the teams. 70 minutes, Leicester are 1-0 up. 70 minutes, they start time wasting. They're standing over free kicks. They're rolling around on the ground. Their goalkeepers winding the crowd up, trying to take as long as he can over goal kicks. All of that stuff. Leeds go 2-1 up in the 80th minute. Leeds could very easily head to the corner flag. I'm sure lots of us were screaming at the TV or on the ground last night, screaming, go to the corner flag, sit on the ball, kill the game. Didn't. Leeds kept going, kept pushing Leicester back and pushing. And by that stage, Leicester looked dead. They looked out on their feet, out of ideas. And that's massive as well. Attitude, desire, and passion. It was all there last night. Love to see it. The big thing is going to be this can't be the peak of the season and then drop into a hangover after that. We've got to be careful with that as well. We've got to be mindful of that as well. Leeds need to make sure that when we play Huddersfield on Saturday or next weekend, that we go and do a job. Their managers had some things to say about Leeds as well. Go and do a job next week. Keep the train moving forward. Whatever happens with Chelsea midweek, whatever happens in that game, a positive performance is needed to keep the momentum going. Momentum is massive. It's important. If we lose the game, I don't care. As long as we lose in the right manner. That for me is okay. The league is the important one. It's massive for us. Massive for us. So yeah, look, a mental night last night. I'm exhausted. I look exhausted. I feel exhausted. My hair hasn't calmed down. I don't do an awful lot of match reviews anymore, but I wanted to keep talking about this. I wasn't done talking last night about it. And I appreciate everyone. 474 here watching it. If you give us a thumbs up on the video, that would be great. It helps the video to push out to other people. You know the drill. Appreciate it. Let's enjoy this. We've had enough bad days. And whatever happens next week, enjoy this week. Enjoy this moment right now. And let's see what happens next week. And as I said, do I think Leeds go unbeaten the rest of the season? Probably not. Being realistic, I don't think any team goes unbeaten the rest of the season. We will drop points. Other teams will drop points. We got this. We're doing the right things. 17 points behind Leicester on January 12th. 6 points behind them on February 24th. That's an incredible turnaround. So Listen, the channel's been growing as well. People shouting it out. Michael, I really appreciate that. The channel has been growing. I really appreciate that. YouTube putting some new analytics in place yesterday, which just seems to have killed a bit of it. But I appreciate everyone that watches the daily videos. I appreciate everyone that watches the podcast. I know the podcast isn't for everybody. It's for some. People who watch the news don't necessarily love the podcast. People who love the podcast don't necessarily love the news. And that's okay. Trying to make sure there's content for everybody. We have a fantastic content creator community out there. You've got Joe, you've got JT, you've got Not Leeds podcast, you've got American Leeds podcast, you've got Ought to Know Better. You know, you've got all these people out there. There's something for everybody. Something for everyone. Just a quick super chat. Jesus, appreciate that very much. Greetings to all. Still haven't slept from last night from Bahrain. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. That's massive. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Say thanks to all of you for watching this and sticking with me and come and have a chat with me because I just need it. I said it's still here. It's still here. Let's keep this trend moving. Let's hope it goes. And we got a new member as well, Yorkshire Retro Gamer. Appreciate that, mate. Thanks very much. Right, enjoy the rest of your day. Take some time to sit back, relax, smile, enjoy this. It's worth it. Have a great rest of your day. I'll be back Monday morning for Leeds news. Enjoy yourselves. See you then.